Hello everyone, this is White Wolf, and we're going to start off this live. I hope everyone is doing well. And I wanted to really talk about and get to the root cause of why we don't feel prosperous or wealthy or feel or invite that within our lives. And I think what it is really we don't think that we're worthy of it. We don't think that we're able to be deserving of it. And sometimes in life we put ourselves down and don't have belief systems that align to wealth being a mindset and prosperity not being a physical thing, but it's a non-physical thing, and it's a constant state of reception, it's a constant state of awareness, and you allow yourself to make the decision that I can make actions that really equate to the way I'm thinking and the way I'm projecting and the way that I'm trying to receive that prosperity. Prosperity is just a good meditation in the morning. Sometimes prosperity is a wonderful thought. Sometimes prosperity is visualization, placing yourself in the parallel reality before you experience it. It's just placing yourself in the present. And sometimes prosperity could literally just be something that you change within your routine. So prosperity isn't just money, but prosperity is everything that we receive and emulate and is a constant state of progression. And sometimes it's about not trying too hard for the manifestation either. Sometimes it's allowing and inviting the universe to surprise you, to wow you, to have complete allowance and patience and faith, to have the ability to know that the prosperity comes when you really have faith towards it and you really have that fine balance of knowing that you are the currency and the wealth that you are receiving, that you are the consciousness and you are the prosperity and the wealth and you are the manifestation of life. And understanding that, and why I titled this Wealth is a Decision, you can choose to live an abundant life. You can choose to have gratitude towards it. You can choose to have appreciation towards it. And you can choose to have a love and an affinity for yourself and for everything in the world, so that you're able to change your thinking, change your emotions, but also learn how to subtract a lot of things in your life that are hindering you from future manifestations, that are not allowing you to tap into that abundant energy. So sometimes we need to clean out the closet or clean out the house spiritually. Sometimes it's inside of ourselves, and sometimes it's literally in our house. Sometimes it's just getting rid of an old piece of furniture. Sometimes it's making that decision that you've been putting off for so long. Sometimes it's just putting yourself out there when it seems very unlikely why you should put yourself out there. Sometimes wealth and prosperity can be withheld from us if we're not progressing, we're not learning how to clear out of ourselves. So sometimes wealth and prosperity and living in truth and abundance isn't always what we think it is. We always think that it's physical. We always think that it's here. We always think it's just the complete outcome and what is being received right here and now. But sometimes it's about the appreciation and the gratitude and living in the now present moment. Sometimes it's just about doing that. It's making that decision to realize that wealth is a decision. It's a state of mind, it's a state of body, it's a state of spirit. It's living in a beautiful state. I think living in a wealthy state is living in a beautiful state. So living in happiness, living in truth and resonance and allowance is having a wealthy mindset. And yes, you could work jobs. Yes, you could do this thing that seems very safe and secure. But are we willing to have faith to do the things that we really love? To do the things that bring us joy, that bring us resonance, but also doing the things that seems beneficial for service to others. And if it allows us to do that, then we should always have faith towards that and never forget our dream that's in our hearts. Never forget the dream that you have in your heart, because the dream is the vision. And then you have the intention behind the vision, and then the dream becomes a reality. And then that becomes your life, and that becomes the ongoing progression of learning how to be very prosperous, very wealthy by just changing your state, changing your personality, changing your routine and not living in Groundhog Day and not going in the revolving door, but just encouraging yourself to make the decision that wealth is a mindset. And it's not a physical thing. We think that it's a physical thing. It's funny because I have a cigar ashtray that I saw a long time ago, and I went to the store to get it, but I didn't have the money right then and there. And then the second time around, then I had the money to get that, but I knew that I was going to get that cigar ashtray. I believed it, and I knew that it was mine. I knew that it was mine, but it wasn't the right divine timing to make that manifestation happen. But it was mine in a parallel reality, in a future circumstance and experience. I had that ashtray that I really wanted for my cigars. So just because I didn't have it already doesn't mean that I haven't accumulated it or created it or attracted it to myself. So that's when we have the law of addition come with the law of subtraction, which allows us to take things out and then we add things in and implement them. And then we're able to attract much better because we're subtracting what is hindering us and not allowing us to progress. And then we're adding everything in that is allowing us to be more of abundance. And then guess what? You're becoming more of a magnetic force and you have more of a pull to yourself because you're choosing to have a wealthy state of mind, spirit, and body. Because you can't look at yourself and see yourself as less than. Just because I don't look like, who's a famous actor, just because I don't look like Chris Hemsworth does not mean that I have to look like Chris Hemsworth to be happy. But I have to be happy in my own divine skin and how Source incarnated me and made me and designed me in the image of the I Am Presence. So I have to be happy with what I have. And I have to be okay with what I have. Even though I wasn't always happy with it. I was pretty pessimistic and negative, and now I have this truth under my belt, which allows me to kind of look at the ways that I was thinking, look at the ways that I was going about something, and see that that was never helpful. It was actually more defeating the purpose. And then you start to see that a way is paved for you, and a gateways and different ways to manifest and to access those different doors that open to you, which show you and reflect to you what you're becoming more of. And I think it's really interesting when we go along the path because now I don't really worry about all the money that I do spend because I know that it will always come back to me. I had to really learn what it means to really give and receive, and that's why I do these messages and I do these meditations and healings and psychic readings because I want to give back to the community and I want to give service and I want to help in any way that I can. And I want to take the focus, off of what I'm doing currently and give my time and essence to what I'm supposed to do. And I think that's growing and giving, And sometimes it's, we go to this Take 5 oil change place, my girlfriend does. And she always seems to find a way to tip the people that put air in her tires or change the oil in some way, shape, or form. She'll ask me, do you have like $5? And I'll give it to her because that's being prosperous and being appreciative and paying it forward. It's kind of like when you go to a restaurant and you really don't like the food there and you didn't enjoy the experience, it wasn't a total loss. Because you tipped the person and you paid for the meal, but you still made somebody money. You still helped out in some way. So even though that the food wasn't that great, you didn't really like it, you probably never go there again in your life, right? But somebody still manifested that wealth and prosperity. So it wasn't a complete loss. So we have to look at everything with a grain of salt. We have to look at everything and seeing like the beauty and the transcendence in it and look at the reasonings why things happen, why things generate, why things are being created, and why things have to break down in order to have breakthroughs. And then we allow ourselves to see that we're building more foundations within ourselves and more foundations in what we're building and creating and imagining. Some of you are artists, some of you are writers, some of you just want to live a peaceful life, and some of you might, go on a cliff for a year and go backpacking or whatever. But the thing is that wealth and prosperity are not physical specimens. And I made a video a long time ago about this, but I wanted to really reinstate that wealth is a mindset. It's a way that you think. It's a way that you project. It's a way that you go about life. It's a way that you carry yourself as like a wealthy person. And now a wealthy person could be a healthy person. A wealthy person could be a very positive person. A wealthy person could be somebody that you see and like, what are they doing? They exercise 5 times a week. They go to meetings. They're very, secure. They're very confident in what they do. And they're like a multi-billionaire or something like that. If you look at that person and you're jealous, then you kind of lost the narrative. You kind of lost the point of what they were showing you, right? So you can't be mad at the person in the suit who's a billionaire, who has like meetings and conferences and does all these things and has a private jet. You can't be mad at that person, because then you're not going to be able to become that person that you want to be. I'm not saying you have to be like that person, but that person is doing something that you're not doing. And we have to learn from that, and we can't look at it with like jealousy, Or it's like, I remember when I was younger and even earlier on in life, I would go to the store sometimes and look at all the things that I could not have. That's the biggest way that we shoot ourselves in the foot. That's the biggest way we shoot ourselves in the foot, because if we look at all the things that we can't have, we're never going to have it. It's kind of like, if you never talk to that person, you might meet your best friend, but you're too afraid because you have anxiety to talk to people. Or asking the person out on a romantic date. You'll never know if you don't try, and if they say no, then that's wasn't meant to be, right? But wealth is not just money. A lot of people think it's just money when they talk about prosperity and law of attraction. And I think one of the key parts that they miss in law of attraction is that they misconstrue what is ask, believe, and receive. It's about asking what you preferably want in your preference, in your expression, but believing to the point where you know that you received. So it's kind of like, there's a story, an actor, Jim Carrey. He literally would walk on Mulholland Drive and he would believe that he was the biggest actor at the time, because in the 90s he was making all those movies, Bruce Almighty, The Mask, great movies, right? Well, he would walk on Mulholland Drive and he would say that I have the $10 million. I am the biggest actor in Hollywood. I am that person that's manifesting that. And he believed it to the point where he believed it. And then guess what? He got an offer for The Mask. It was like $10 million, the same exact money that he wanted. And he wrote himself like a $10 million check, right? So I was kind of remembering the story now. So he was making the $10 million check to himself, and he was wanting to be in movies. He was wanting to become an actor. And then in 1994, he got the role for The Mask, and they gave and paid him like $10 million to do the movie. So everything that he prophesied, everything that he was equating to his own prophecy in his own life and what he wanted to manifest, came directly to him because he imagined it and he visualized it and he placed himself there. And that's why the wealth was the mindset. So that's why it all came together in a beautiful culmination. So even people who, actors, writers, people who are sports people, they know that they manifest because they're gifted in some way, shape, or form, right? They're very gifted. They know what they're doing. They do something and they're rewarded for it, right? It's understandable why some people like Michael Jordan or LeBron, they're good at what they do. They're manifesting what they are because they have the dedication and the passion and the repetition. So sometimes wealth is not just a mindset, but it's motivation. It's motivation to be better. It's motivation to implement empowerment, to better your belief systems, to not let anything come in the way of what you want to become in that moment. So it's kind of like if Jim Carrey would walk on Mulholland Drive, write himself a check, know that he was the actor that was in all of those movies, and believed it and he manifested it, there's no reason why we can't do that. There's no reason why we can't attract that to ourselves. And some of you could be actors, you could be inventors. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you have to do meditation like I do. But all of it is spiritual. All of it is energy. Everything is connected and interwoven. Everything. And it's understanding that there's just some people that manifest at greater speeds than some people. I've even told myself that. I'm like, I don't understand how they do it. I've been doing my work for 3 or 4 years, and I don't know how some people do it, but they're just gifted. Everybody's gifted in their own way. And I think it's just finding out where you are supposed to be placed. Who are you and what are you? And I am because you are, and you are because I am. And if we're able to do that, and we're able to recognize that within each other, then we can see each other as divine. We can see ourselves as purification. We can see ourselves as beautiful and bright and wondrous. So yeah. So I wanted to do stuff with the rain stick. I wanted to do some meditation or activation, or an activation meditation with the rain stick to activate prosperity in your guys' lives. So I'm going to be using this bad boy right here to do some work with the rain stick, and also you guys can book private sessions, 120 for 1 hour, 2 hours for 220, and also I'm going to be going live doing live readings tonight, and I believe that the donations will most likely be $25 to $30. So I hope everyone is doing well. So we're going to be doing activation with the rain stick. Activate prosperity. Activate everything that you want. Activate everything inside of your reality, what you want to attract to yourself, and subtract and add and implement the things that you do want to manifest. So we have a strong energy of prosperity. Allow yourselves to see yourselves as the person that you want to become, as that wealthy person, as that person is prosperous, who's happy, who's fulfilled, because there are billionaires on this planet that are not happy. But if we can allow ourselves to be the billionaires that are happy, to be the prosperity, to be the fulfillment, to be able to conduct business really well, to just show up to your life as if you're meant to be there. That's all you have to do. You don't have to be the best at everything. You don't have to be the most gifted person in the world, but you can just be your most authentic self within your resonance. So a lot of us are receiving medallions, we're receiving necklaces. A lot of us are receiving gold bars within the solar plexus. And a lot of us are receiving better thoughts, better programming, receiving a lot of codes and downloads, being poured into our causal chakra to embrace the non-physical space of reality. And just think to yourself, what decisions can I make today? And what can I subtract? And what can I add? And how can I change the cause and effect of my current reality? How can I manifest the best thing, the miracle, and set the miracle into motion? How can I demonstrate grace with an action? How can I bring it all together? How can I use myself as a beacon of light so I can take the focus off of myself and serve something greater than myself? So now we're ditching the service to self and we're allowing ourselves to be of service to others. And so we're able to project what we want, to place it there, to teleport into our future manifestations, and to live very presently, knowing that wealth is a mindset. It is a state of mind, a state of body, a state of being. There are many different aspects to wealth. And one of the reasons why I'm wearing red today is because it resembles prosperity. Knowing every time that you see a rainbow, it's a gift. See everything as a gift. See every way as a tool of receiving, but also allowing the universe to surprise you with something today that you haven't even thought of, that you haven't even vocalized yet, but allowing yourself to just receive the blessing. The blessing is when you choose to be the blessed indeed. To know that you're blessed. To know everything and every aspect of your life is blessed. And you have complete allowance. You have complete faith and patience with knowing that you will always be reciprocated every time that you give. Every time that you give back, every time you spend some money, every time that you allow yourself to replenish everything that was stripped away from you, you will always be that endless supply. So this is just reclaiming, like getting rid of a state of mind, a state of poverty, a state of lack, and just allow ourselves to just be bold and say, no, that is not of me. That is not what I want to emanate. That is not who I want to become. And that I will just open my heart and just to be able to be complete reception. Sometimes we can give, but it's time for a lot of us to receive, and sometimes a lot of us are just receiving and it's time for us to give. But once you have the ability to give, you're in a constant state of reception. You always receive. You just are the reception. You are the accumulation of that embodiment of that spiritual mass. And usually before anyone makes it in this reality is right at the precipice before they give up. Just don't give up on your dream. Allow your dreams to be a reality. Allow your imagination to create worlds into existence. And allow every decision to be of a prosperous nature. Allow yourself to set the miracle into motion and allow yourself to just receive constantly and to just be that reflection and just to breathe that within everything that you do so that you have a magnetic personality. Just activate the sense of giving back to the world, giving back to everything that is holy, and allowing yourself to come back to who you really are. And sometimes it's just declaring that you are blessed. And if you just receive the blessing, then you are just the awareness that you want to become. So allow yourselves to take a deep breath. Exhale. And so it is. So thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of that. Live and healing and everything of that nature. Also, you guys can book private sessions as well. And also, I'll be doing live readings tonight around 10 or 11, something like that. And I hope you guys enjoyed the live, and thank you guys for being a part of it. And also, just know wealth is a mindset, prosperity is a state of being. And prosperity is just a state where you choose to be everything that you want to become in this moment. So, God bless, namaste. This is White Wolf signing off, and so it is. God bless.